And we are live, my friends. Welcome to Oromo Affairs. This is your host. As you guys know, this is Ace Drew. Today I have a special guest, smart guest. This man is a lawyer, Shia law from the Haman community here in Minnesota. He's a lawyer. He knows one or two or three or even more about politics that we're going to highlight today. And Sia, say hello to Oromos and particularly, East Africa as a whole, minorities as a whole, all kind of people and walk of life that watches my show. I say welcome to all
Yes.
of them. Say hi to them. Just tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, sure. Well, Ace, thank you for having me on your show. And, I want to say greetings to all of the people that are able to join us this evening. I'm honored to be on your show, Ace, and to share a little bit about what I believed in and what we need to do. And so I'm honored to be invited by you and to share and to tell you a little bit about the Hmong community and why we are the way we are as well. So I look forward to the discussion. I'm an attorney. Um, I went to Hamlin University back in 96, well,
Mhm.
93, and then I graduated in 96. And I worked at all level of government, including the feds, and now I'm in private practice. Um, Most of the things that I do are injuries. I would say general practice, but I focus on injuries. We do work injuries as well. Some, if people get hurt at the hospital, we do medical malpractice as well. I have a medical degree as well as a law degree, so that's why I end up doing medical malpractice as well. But I'm honored to be here.
For
I'm
sure.
married, four children. I also ran for office,
For
trying
sure.
to do my part to help this country move forward to a better place.
For sure.
And why we, fought so hard for freedom. And now that we are here, what are we going to do in order to maintain our freedom? I
For sure.
guess that's the question I want to pose to all the listeners. We come to
100%.
America because we want to be free,
For sure.
and we want to make sure that here in America, that all the sacrifices that we made to come to America, that we actually um, achieve freedom and make our dreams come true. That
For
and,
sure.
and that's why I believe in what I believe in, and I do what I do every day.
For sure. We're gonna get more into details about that.
Yep.
So the name of your law firm is, can you tell
Yes.
what?
Yep. Low law firm,
Mhm.
and the number is 612-325-0796. If you have any questions, especially immigration questions, usually in the immigrants community, like Hmong and Laotian, Oromo,
For sure.
um, I get a lot of immigration questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to call me. And if I can't help you, I know someone that can actually can help you. So
For
I
sure.
look forward to you calling me with any questions.
Nice. So that is the number, folks. If you're watching, you can share it with your loved ones, friends, and families, whoever need it. If you ever need a law service. So, Shia, you know, you and I, we've known each other for a little while now.
Yes.
As you know I'm Oromo. We are the second biggest population in East Africa,
Yes.
next to Nigeria. Hausa of Nigeria is the only population in Africa that beat us.
Mm-hmm.
Our language is like the third world spoken language in Africa, obviously English being number one, as worldwide many countries speak English. But
Mm-hmm.
next to that is Swahili. After that, they speak Oromo.
Yeah.
Now, being big is a problem. Being a big population in the third world is very difficult to bring all these heads together when you don't have freedom. So that is one of our main challenges. And as we don't, as a big population, we don't have favoritism with powerful people or powerful organizations in the world like the NATO and the US, England. They don't like us that much because we're big, we eat too much. They rather support a little guy who will wrap everything around and share it with them.
Right.
So how is it? How's the relationship of your country versus the U.S.? Like, we basically want the U.S. not to support our enemy, and the U.S. keeps supporting our enemy, so we keep losing, man. So as you can see
Yeah,
with my background, I'm
yeah,
trying to have a meaningful relationship built between the U.S. and Oromo in order to bring
yeah,
real peace to East Africa.
yeah. And so, Ace, one of the things I want to share with everyone is that here in America, you have an opportunity to learn from everyone all around the world. So you get to hear a little bit about
For
the
sure.
Hmong community tonight because we speak the same language,
Hmm.
right? So without English,
Right.
Ace and I, we wouldn't be able to communicate. I don't know how to speak
Right.
Oromo, and you don't speak Hmong. But in English, we understand each other just fine. And so,
Hmm.
because we have English as a common language in this country, you and I are able to communicate and share ideas and dreams and everything else that we want to talk about.
For sure.
So, the Hmong community um, is a little bit different from other community like Oromo and how we end up the way we are.
For sure.
Um, we originally are from China, from people that study our people. We had our final king was killed by the Chinese, and
Hmm.
so we immigrated south from China to Southeast Asia. Some of us end up in Burma, Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam. Large Hmong population in Vietnam.
Right.
Now, when the U.S. found us, we were living up in the hills in the jungles. Didn't know how to read or write.
Hmm.
We don't even have radio, so we pretty much survive in the jungle.
Right.
And but one things we have is that we know how to manufacture our own guns.
Hmm.
Okay,
Yeah.
we know how to manufacture our own gunpowders. So
Right.
we were able to hunt very successfully with our weapon. When the United States got involved in the Vietnam War and they want to recruit the Hmong as a um, um, an allied, or they call it surrogate soldier. So
Right.
we are in the shoes of the U.S. doing the U.S. work without U.S. actually doing anything, and all
Hmm.
of this is undercover now. It's declassified, and people talk about why we were recruited and what we did.
Right.
Basically, we took the shoes of the U.S. because the U.S. could not get involved, and so we fought the communist North Vietnamese for 15 years to a standing still. In other
Hmm.
words, it didn't go anywhere. You
Right.
know, they push us back, we pushed them back, and it went back and forth, back and forth.
Right.
And throughout that whole period, we lost about a third of our population
Wow.
fighting for the
Wow.
United States. And then
Wow.
when the United States made a decision to pull out of the Vietnam War, guess what the communists were thinking? Well, the Hmong is a problem because they helped the U.S. And now
Right.
the U.S. are gone, let's exterminate them, pretty much.
Right.
So we
Exactly.
didn't have any place to go, so we all took off to Thailand. And from Thailand,
Wow.
we were declared to be refugees by the United Nations, and were giving permission to enter the U.S. Now, one thing is very unique about the Hmong is that we did not come as a normal refugees. We have to prove to the United States that we actually fought in the war for the United States in order for them to allow us to come into the U.S. So
Right.
almost every Hmong family that is here in the US went through that screening process,
Wow.
including my father, who he has to
What
go
was it?
through
If
credential.
did the Hmong enemies trying to go on that screening saying Hmongs to come to America to steal the Hmongs' opportunity to come to America?
So say that again, base.
Like the enemies of Hmongs,
Yeah.
they
Well,
they,
I
they
mean,
too want to go to America, right? They
yes,
think they
yeah,
get the
yeah,
opportunity.
and after our initial wave, we find people that we fought for a long time also end up over here.
Saying their mugs, right, to pass through the screening.
Yeah, and so we're saying, what are you doing here? You really don't belong here. And what's sad is that after we were kicked out or left the country, the United States normalized that relationship with Laos like the next day. Like
This is exactly the same.
like
It's like
what
we are being played the
it
same
didn't matter.
politics.
If I don't know why the United States take the position that they do, but the decision that the State Departments of the U.S. make has grave consequences because that belittles all the sacrifices that we made. I mean,
So this was to get rid of somebody communist that's gonna run the country.
well, yeah, the
The war.
communist runs over the country, but then you shake hand with them and go, okay,
Exactly.
we're gonna go back and yeah, and then we're gonna normalize relationship with these people that have killed all our allies and surrogate soldiers for years.
It's the stories are so identical. My Oromo
And then
story and
so
your Mangi story is like exactly the same story.
okay, yeah, well,
So
you guys
so
need
when
to
they
know
did
that's what happened to
the
us.
when they did the immigration screening, is there a neighboring country where all of you have to go to get a screen?
Yes, everyone has to go through screening. You have to be able to name who your commanders were, who were the American officials. You have any documentation to prove that you worked for the U.S. or fought for the U.S.
That's crazy, man.
The CIA, my understanding, I was too young, but people told me that the CIA who was running the operation, Jerry Danielson, he participated in interviewing and screening Hmong people to come to the U.S.
That's crazy.
So when the Hmong arrived in the U.S., we're like, okay, so how come you let other people come into this country? And then they didn't do anything. So why do you allow why do you use such a stringent standard to screen us out or to screen us in and just let anybody walk over here? Like the Karen, for example. Nothing against them, but
Right.
what did they do for the US?
So basically, in the 1990s, we were used to get rid of dictator, communist dictator too. And then after that, they threw us under the bus, and they gave the country to a minority group to rule. So
Yeah.
during that, they would have to slaughter us out of the way, slaughter our army, slaughter everything out of the way.
Yeah.
So once they did that, they opened up the case for us, just like you guys in Kenya. Though we have to cross the border and go to Kenya, and then once we go there, we can head to the U.S. and some other countries in
Mhm.
Europe, Australia, and whatnot.
Yeah, I did not know that that's what happened to your people, Ace.
Yeah,
But if there are similarities, we need to share ideas, join
right,
forces, and make sure that our people, do not die in vain.
for sure.
And that killing, if it's not unnecessary, why you even allow it? You
Right,
know. So we don't understand the things that the U.S. do. There are people that preach about, let's trades with China. Let's build them. Let's give them access to the world trades. And now, my understanding is China is out of control.
pretty much.
Yeah, and so and now, how do you contain someone that you've been feeding all these years, right? And then they have, I mean, they're surpassing you in everything that you do because you decided, well, hopefully this technology is going to convert them into democracy, and that didn't happen. And
Nope,
so who authorized that? That group of believer need to be responsible for what they've created,
100%.
right? And for the people that truly love freedom and fought for the United States need to take care of those people first, right? It's fair, you know. If if we fought and we believe in the same thing, you need to take care the people that died for you first
Exactly.
and pay the price. You know, that we treat our veterans the same way.
Right.
Um, and we need to treat our allies, the people, the surrogate soldiers, the same way.
Right. I can see they don't want to spend their money. That's why they don't want to treat us fairly after the war, right? After the war, there's some, somebody got to pay for the damage. You know, people like us, the Oromo people, like, that nobody's going to pay for the damage for us. So we gotta stay conservative, stay strong, and take care of ourselves. And right after the war, they let a minority rule a majority. That is the most disturbing part for me. That is like what I mostly trying to uncover. Like if you look at this, right?
Mm-hmm.
This relationship, the issue we have in all third world, it seems like a minority is ruling a majority. Like, how can we ever see a peace if we keep seeing a minority ruling a majority? Like
Yeah.
in all third world, not one country left behind. You cannot point to one country where a majority rules in any of these third world countries. Not one. You cannot name me one country and say this particular ruling people, this
Yeah.
particular group of people that is ruling, the people that make up
Yeah.
the cabinet, the military generals, all the important positions in this country, the people sitting at those positions are predominantly coming from a minority group.
Right.
So we cannot expect a peace because somebody else is always forming resistance from using this majority of the population.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the main problem we have in Ethiopia. But right now, the problem with Ethiopia is in the last 150 years, we only had five leaders. They're all dictators, they all ruled 20 plus years. That's why in 150 years, we only had five leaders. But every time this dictator gets overthrown, the leader is Oromo always. It's
Mm.
temporary. He's always rules for this 4 years, 5 years until they settle
Yeah.
the country down. They use Oromo. In between, Oromo is always used.
Right.
So that's the problem we have. The reason they use Oromo is because we're majority. Like to establish a country, you need majority. Once you establish it, you put the minority back in power, and then the Oromo goes back to war.
Yeah.
So we can't get out of this cycle.
Yeah. Well, maybe what we need to do in this country, the Romo, that's why we have the discussion, is that we have to get involved in politics.
Hundred
We
percent,
do,
100%.
because the one thing that they respect the most is our right to vote
Uh-huh.
when we become a U.S. citizen.
Right,
And so we could learn a lot from our Jewish community
for sure,
and how they're able. I mean, or the Afro American community.
for
You
sure.
know, um, I'm talking about those that were brought here to become slaves, and then rose from that, and now we have, my understanding is we have more than 100 Afro American um, um, congressmen,
100%.
and, once they get to that stage, I believe um, they need to look in that just Afro American in America, but in Africa, and how we need to change U.S. policy to
Right,
make sure that all of these unnecessary wars and dictators um, get to be removed, and that the people get to pick their leaders. You
right,
know, I mean, you and I, we don't want to follow somebody that we don't believe in.
right.
We want to pick somebody that we all believed in, right?
Hundred
At the end
percent,
of the day, And now the person that we picked for Minnesota is Scott Jensen,
100%.
right? We went through the endorsement process. He fought with all of the other candidates, and now he is the person um, to go against the other party. And so, I mean, maybe we talk a little bit about why someone like me would support Scott Jensen.
For sure.
And,
That question is important. So that's kind of the main theme of today's conversation that we
Yes.
have. So, Shia, why do you think many minorities in the U.S., like just like you said, like you see yourself as conservative, you are voting conservative, but many other, like predominantly, they're going to go vote for liberals.
Yeah. And I
Why
can
do
tell
you
you
think?
why.
Why do you
That's
think that?
why that is. When we first come into this country, we need a lot of help. Okay, so the party that gives a lot of handouts
Right,
are going to be a DFL leaning, and they took care of us. We need help to get educated and to do the basic thing. But the problem is, people get caught in that cycle. You will never be
right,
free if you are dependent. Like I
understand.
told people, a lion is made to be in the jungle, not to be in a zoo, and you feed it every day. It's
Right,
that lion's not free. We're not meant to be fed and to be taken care of. We are meant to grow and to find our own dreams and
for
to build
sure,
corporations just like anyone else. We
100%,
want the next Walmart. We want
right,
an opportunity to achieve our dream.
for sure,
And so that's why initially, because of our dependent on the government, we tend to support a Democrat.
right,
Now, I'm not saying what the Democrats in. There are good things about the Democratic Party. Okay,
right,
um, and um, but when you weigh on making sure that people become free and independent,
right,
and why we fought so hard to be free, you once you establish yourself and you're working and you find out that they take all the money that you earn, you're not going to be very happy either, because then you can't feed your family,
right,
right?
sure,
I mean, and I would ask all the listeners to consider this.
right,
um, which party, look at the difference on the, when President Trump was the president, and then Joe Biden becomes president. He signed 100 executive order removing everything that Donald Trump did. And look what happened to the country now.
right,
A year later, okay, crimes are up the like out of control, right? You got a couple million people entering this country illegally.
right,
No country can take that. I
for
mean,
sure,
go ahead and try. If you think the United States is tough, right, on our immigration, go ahead and try to go into China. A million Hmong and a Romo, we're gonna walk into China and snuck across that border into China. You know what's gonna happen to us?
You're not even allowed to be a citizen there, though.
Exactly. I'm saying, we need to look at what other country are doing,
Hundred
okay?
percent.
And yes, we are a country that cares very much. I think the United States cares more about people than
Nine,
any
nine,
country in the
nine
world,
hundred, 900,000 green cards
right?
every
But
year
yeah,
from almost a
but
million people.
yeah, but we need that wall,
Right.
because if you take down that wall, there's going to be 10 million people,
I'm.
right?
This is the crazy thing, Shia.
Yeah.
The Oromo liberals, man. I keep laughing every time I talk about Oromo liberals. Like, it's funny because we're actually fighting to get our country back from Ethiopia.
Mm-hmm.
They believe in borders. They say Ethiopia out of Oromia. They want their country back. But they come to the US and they say, no, US shouldn't be a country. We don't need a border in the US. I was like, why? We have to be real. Like, life is life, no matter where you land it. Like,
Yeah.
life is life. Your belief got to be the same if you're in Africa or in Europe or in America or South America. People should have a belief for like mutual success, and it shouldn't be different just because you land in different place.
Yeah. Well, think of your country as your house.
Right.
You want anybody to just come to your house and get thing out of your refrigerator,
Nope.
or sit on your couch, or sleep with your children, or do whatever? Like take your car and share it and
Nope.
piss on it and
Nope.
no,
That's
no,
that's
okay,
why
yeah,
that's why
we
all the Democrats with money have bodyguards and security.
well, I mean, we're here to talk a little bit. I mean, I don't want to bash the Democrats, but I do want to point out to the listeners to look at what both parties stands for,
Right.
okay, and why someone like myself would support the Conservative Party. I um, I would I would say that you need to what happened to Trump and Biden is a clear example of of, of leadership. Leadership matters. I always say leadership matters because if you pick if you pick Biden, gas out of control, right? Borders out of control, right? Crime out of control. That's you vote for that.
Right.
Because okay, why do I say that? Because when Trump was in power, right? None of that was happening.
For sure.
You think about that. Now we can't afford food for our children, right? I went to McDonald's. I paid $20 for crying out loud,
For
right?
sure.
I mean,
No
so
savings
then I
there.
go to the grocery store. I look at a piece of ribs, and I'm like, it's $30. How do I afford this?
That's crazy.
Okay, just a year ago, when President Trump was in power, whether you like him or not, okay, when the Republican was in power, okay, we were exporting oil. Can you imagine that?
For sure.
Now we don't have enough oil. And so the oil price is way up. Guess who the oil company is supporting? Biden.
Right.
That's why they're not going to support Donald Trump because Donald Trump actually cares for the people.
For sure.
You take him out and you put in Biden and you get everything right now. And now Biden is, the Democrats are blaming the Republican and say, oh, things are like this because Trump was in charge. Well, then it should have happened 4 years when Trump was running it, right?
Right.
Oil price should be skyrocketing, right? And every all hell should break loose when Trump was in power. That's not true. But now we see a clear comparison between a Democratic leader and a Republican leader. And
For
if
sure.
people see that, I can tell you, okay, if you put someone like President Trump back into power, everything will go back to like two years ago.
Right.
Guarantee. Because it's
Sure.
all about leadership. Ace, I was just in Thailand. Okay. I went back over there. We were invited to go to convert the refugee camp into a memorial park. So we
Mm-hmm.
went over there. And the thing that startled me the most was the lack of criminal activity, lack of criminal ramping the street. There is nobody out in the street beating other people up in Thailand.
Right.
There's nobody robbing anybody in plain sight in Thailand. Why is that, Ace? Because you know what? Their leader would not allow it,
For sure.
right? When we picked someone who wants to hurt other, you pick their rights, you protect their rights, and you don't protect the victim, the innocent, hardworking, the silent majority. You don't protect those people. This is what we have. What's happening in America? We need to go
100%.
back to no. If you are a law-abiding citizen, you have rights. But if you violate those people's rights, your right need to be taken away. Period.
Yeah.
And our leader need to be very clear about that because
100%.
you have a lot to learn from Thailand. Okay,
100%.
I mean United States. I tell you, I, I walk out there. Not a moment did I fear someone was gonna rob me or attack me or hurt me or do something, you know, uh, to me. I feel completely safe. I mean, I was there for 2 weeks. I will go out in the street. I did not see anybody stole anything. You got money and everything laying out in the street, and hundreds of people walk by. nobody would take anything, even though they were begging for food out in the street. Of course, there are, every country has poverty,
Right.
and so we have people out in the street begging all the time. But those people went out there robbing other people because they were poor.
Like how Duterte cleaned up Philippines.
Yeah, and so what I like
That
about,
was
you
crazy.
know, yeah, what I like about Thailand, and I think we have a lot to learn from them as well as you know the Conservative Party, is at least we're saying you have to follow the law, and that
100%.
means if you are hungry, you ask for it. You don't go rob for it. Okay, you don't hurt people, right? You don't go and burn my store down because you're pissed off.
Right.
I didn't do anything wrong to you. Why do you come and burn my store down?
Right.
Why do you trash my house when I didn't do anything wrong to you?
For
Okay,
sure.
I earned this. I worked very hard to put my business together, my home together. Please don't destroy my home. I worked very hard for it. Just like you. If you work very hard to build your store, I don't want to come out there and burn it down because I'm pissed off at something, right? We need to hold the people, those people that did the wrong thing to you, you need to hold those people accountable, but you should not be harming innocent people along the way.
For sure. Speaking on that crime, the crime and the politics part. So in Minnesota, let me use George for example. May he so rest in peace. You know George Floyd, right?
Yes.
Now, the Attorney General is a Democrat, one party. The governor is from the same party. The mayor of the city is same party. The police chief leaning liberal. The entire city council, like except one person, 11 of them are all liberal, same party. The county attorney, Democrat, same party. Every single power position, from all the way top, all the way to the bottom, all of them are Democrats from the same party. Now, why didn't they charge the cop until the population went out and went crazy and burned down businesses? They're all Democrat, man. They're all Democrat. That community voted, every single person they voted for is a Democrat, from all the way to governor, all the way to the school board person. So how much more can these people vote to get a safety service from the Democrats?
Yeah.
And on top of that, when it comes to poverty too, that is the poorest district. And everybody, that district voted for Democrat from all the way city council, almost every single city council, man. 1% is independent in there.
Yeah.
So how much more? There is nothing that community can further do for the Democrats. Nothing more. But that community remained the poorest to this day. To this
Yeah.
day, from the day they've been voting for the Democrats, to this day, that community remains
Yeah.
the poorest.
I I want the people who vote for those leaders to ask themselves these questions. Okay? The leaders that you picked, are you are you going to achieve your dream with them?
Right.
Are you free? I mean, I'm talking about free from crime, free to have your own home, your own businesses, to build your dream. Are those people helping you with that? Because if they are your leader and you live in a shithole and people are robbing and killing each other every day, and your children are not safe, why do you elect them? Why do you let them lead you? I won't. And I hold those, and the leaders that are listening, the people will hold you accountable. If I was the leader and things goes wrong and crime's out of control, I'm responsible. You need to come out, be very strong, and say, we're not going to tolerate this.
For sure.
Do not harm the innocent people, right? As we see, and people are going to go, well, it's just the media. No, homelessness is out of control.
For sure.
Why? You need to be taking care of these people, right? Come up with solution. You're the leader,
For sure.
right? You lead the state. You lead the city. You lead the county. So it's for you to solve the problem. So I ask the people who are voting for these folks, They keep telling you they're going to solve your problem. How come you're the poorest part? How come you're the poorest? You you
Exactly.
your children are getting killed every day. Why is that?
The
After
crazy
a
thing,
while,
shit. The one
right?
about Minnesota is the crazy. They're all Democrat. It's like not even one Republican is in their way.
Well, you can't. Okay. So I'm sorry to say, but unfortunately, the cleanest city and the um like the most beautiful part of the city, right? I mean, the grass are cut. You don't see any trash. Those neighborhoods, my understanding and from what I know is those leaders are conservative,
For
and
sure.
and we keep using the word conservative and looks like we're not willing to do anything. No, these are the folks that pick up the trash, cut the grass without anybody asking them to do so. Okay,
Right.
I got my neighbor across me. He comes over and he shovel my snow, and so I do the same. I blow his snow, and he cut my grass, and I cut his grass, and he takes my leave, and he didn't ask for a dime. He did it because he just want to help me, and so I did it in return. And so all the neighbors around me, that's what we do for each other. We watch out for each other, and we help each other. And I don't say what party you belong to,
For sure.
but I'm saying to the people that are voting for the leaders right now that are responsible for all these chaos. And when I talk about chaos, chaos in people coming into this country illegally in the millions, that's something we cannot sustain. And then we let crimes out of control, and then we let inflation out of control, and then we blame someone else who's not in charge for it.
For
Makes
sure.
absolutely no sense to me,
For sure.
right? What's your solution? The solution is, why don't you let somebody like Ace run your city for a while? Maybe it'll be different, right?
I'll be
Maybe
busy going after the criminals. I'm not
yeah,
gonna tell them to eat cereal or pasta for their
yeah.
breakfast. They can eat
But
whatever they want for their breakfast.
Ace, and here's the thing: I am not against a criminal. Okay, I know everyone goes through hard time,
For sure.
and they either they're dependent on chemical or they went through a hard time and they just need help. But the way we help them is not the way we are doing right now in the inner city. Okay,
Sure.
you help people by helping them help themselves. Okay, that means that if we're going to provide a shelter for you, you got to follow these rules. Okay, we're not going to create a shelter, let the homeless people go in there and then get assaulted.
For sure.
We can't have prisons and then people go in there and then assault each other in prisons.
For
I
sure.
mean, once the government gets involved and we bring people in, those people need to be safe. Okay, we need to be the last resource, to be the safest place for the people that somehow life dealt them a hard blow and they need help right now. And we call them criminal because they're committing these horrendous acts, and I'm pretty sure deep in their conscience, or some of them are very sorry for what they've done,
For sure.
but they can't help themselves, and that's why we need the government to the right leader to bring all of the people together to solve this problem.
100%. 100%, man. It's very sad to have everybody elected from top to bottom from the same party, the same team, and they don't want to fix the problem because I think they want to depend on the problem. They need the problem to rerun it again next year.
Well, yeah. If those are if those are the current leaders in place, then we need to replace them. And all I ask all of the voters out there is, we can together, a Democrat and Republican and conservative, we are all Americans.
For sure.
We must put the right leader in place, because if we do not, what happened between Donald Trump and Biden is a clear example of
100%.
night and day in leadership. How do you have millions of people entering this country with terrorism now at our doorsteps? All right.
For sure.
And just a year and a half ago or two, we have a secure wall. And at
Right.
least we were able to protect ourselves then.
Right.
And you got to look at how much we're paying now. And don't you blame, the outgoing president. Okay, you were elected. President Biden was elected, so you own this. You and your political party own this. And if the Democrat wants us to conservative to vote for them, they need to do a better job.
For sure.
Show me you can do a better job to protect America, to protect our border, to make sure that we are free, make sure
For
we can
sure.
afford our food, make
For
sure that we
sure.
can afford to take care of our family. Because that's who we want to vote for.
Right.
Not Democrat, Republican. We want to
Right.
vote for the right leader that's going to put their hearts in it and it's going to do the right thing to protect the majority of their people and not just a few.
The
And
reason we became immigrants is because of those bad leaders that we have, the leaders that
absolutely.
overreached power.
In Laos, for example, 9 day in leadership. Okay, so when our country was free before the communists came over, and if the communist people are listening, I really don't care.
For
Okay,
sure.
you need to show me that you are better than the free people, so that we can all become communists. If you are better,
100%.
right? We don't like you because you're not better. Because this is what happened. You said you take over, and you kicked out the free people. And now you're the commie and you took charge. Everybody end up missing and dead.
100%.
Then a few of you, the military leader, start driving brand new cars and brand new houses. Everybody
Exactly.
that is related to you gets all of everything, and the rest of the people go down the road with nothing. You start helping your own people, your own communist party. That's what's wrong. Because the people don't
100%.
support communists, because communism is not fair for everyone. We like free
100%.
for America because at least here in America, some of us get to achieve our dream.
For sure.
Right. That's why we support America. If America start behaving like communists, then not gonna support America either.
100%.
Right? You and I, we're here because we want to be free, we want to be safe, and we want our
Exactly.
children to achieve their dream. And any
Exactly.
leader that would destroy that, that's somebody that we cannot support.
But
I don't care who it is.
this things happens slowly.
Right.
It comes in slowly. First, they take control of the education, or they take control of the economy. Then they move on to taking control of the education. Then they go into fully marginalizing everybody else out of the politics. Then they cut off the free speech. Then suddenly nobody has power. That's what
Well,
every government, like if
okay.
even when Republicans get into office, like we're not gonna trust them. We're not. That's
Ace.
why we have second amendments. So if a Republican goes crazy, like the
Yeah.
population would have second amendment, we would have a gun right to control this leader. But imagine if they take second amendment away and then the president goes crazy. The people become
Yeah.
vulnerable.
I say to the all the leaders out there, if you start behaving like communists, people are gonna know that.
100%.
The majority of the American are not stupid. Okay, we
For sure.
know if you are here to protect freedom, or you're here to protect gov like government control, and that's what a communist is. It's a government control.
Right. Right now
And
they want to control the education, right?
yeah,
Basically, some parents want to raise an elite athlete, right? If there is no big schools in my school district, I should be able to move my son to a bigger school district. I don't have to sell my house and move. If I can drive my son to that city, he can go to school in that city. I should have that right. My
right,
son, my son should go to that city's school in a different city, in a different school district. But the Democrats are even cutting that freedom.
yeah.
Now my son can play the sports that he wished to play competitively. Some
Well,
parents want to raise a son that want to be, a debater.
mhm.
If your school district doesn't have a good debate program, you can send your son to a different school where he gets a better debate program. Some kids want to be in fine art. They want to be in music.
Yeah.
They can go where the best music is to get their training.
That's what separate um, the United States and South Korea from North Korea. All I say is, if you look at South Korea and in a free, competitive environment where corporation competes for the very best, whether they're manufacturing clothes or music or anything, you need to compete to be the very best.
For
And
sure.
North Korea is on top of the world. In the North, is completely controlled by a communist dictator. Look what's happening.
Exactly.
Are there people the best in the world? No, it's the South Koreans that are best in the world. So when it comes
Yeah.
to, yeah,
Like
government, right?
in Ethiopia,
Yeah.
they'll send a kid. Like the government will assign you a college you go to too. They even assign you a boarding school to go. They'll send you far away from your parents.
you you can't do that. And I'm sorry that that that's what's happening in Ethiopia. Maybe there's nothing to do with it, but now we're together here in America, and so we need to communicate with everybody else that believe that the same thing we believe in.
For
And
sure.
all we want is to be a chance to live a good life, work hard, raise our family, love our neighbors. All
See,
right.
they assign you a dentist,
Share our
man.
foods. I mean, I fed you Hmong food. You fed me Oromo food. I mean, we're
Exactly.
learning from each other, right? You need to come
Exactly.
to our New Year, celebration. And so we that's what we need to be doing.
100%.
But we can't do that if people are shooting each other, Ace.
No, we
And
can't.
the highest um, price that we pay, okay, like the biggest bill that we're paying when we run our event. You know what that bill is?
Huh.
Security.
Right, exactly.
You know,
Everywhere. And our
they're
second
screening you
security is
out. Okay,
3 times higher than everything else,
okay.
every other
I,
bill.
I went to Thailand. I went to the largest event, and not a single person got screened, and nobody shot nobody. Nobody beat up nobody.
Right.
Why is that? Why is Thailand the way she is? I think that we have to learn. We have a lot to learn from them.
Exactly.
Not the way we are. The world's not going to learn from us because they come over here. You're in the wrong neighborhood. You might not make it alive, right? And Ace, I mean, another thing I want to bring up: we cannot support a government, a leaders that continue to attack us to death. Okay,
No, man.
okay. So the in a communist, everybody gets A's. A's. Okay,
Right.
everybody gets A's. So nobody studies because the laziest moron in the classroom gets an A, just like you, right? So after a while, you stop studying, right?
But
Well,
who's gonna be the general?
yeah. Well, maybe that dude. If you
Who's
have
gonna be the
connection,
school? Who's gonna be the school principal?
yeah, yeah. Well, you got to have connection, and, Ace, you play soccer, Ace. You
Yep.
like okay. Imagine a dude that does not know how to play soccer. He never practiced.
He
And
goes in
then
the game.
he get to represent your team. And you're gonna get crushed, right? Right. That's what I'm talking about. In
Man,
America, you cannot represent us if you don't know how to play the game. You can't play on Ace and Shear's team
that
because you have
ideology is
not
unrealistic.
proven yourself that you can actually play.
It's unrealistic ideology to follow, man. Being communist, it's only gonna work for the people that are in the leadership. It works for nobody else.
That's why a communist country does not go anywhere, including China.
Nope.
Okay, the world does not respect China for that reason. And if the Chinese leaders are listening to people like us, I'm going, you have to change.
Right.
When I land in your airport in China, I want you to do a better job of treating customer and and foreign into your country than any
Exactly.
country on earth, to show us that you can be the world power.
Exactly.
I've not seen that. I'm sorry, I landed in there.
They only
And
give green card to few celebrities that they honor for bringing some sort
It's
of
not
big
going to
business,
work. The world
for
is not
bringing
going to
only big
respect
business
you.
to China.
Yeah, at least in America, people must compete.
Right.
Although we need to make sure that the, the game is fair.
It's
Okay.
pretty fair. To me, to my opinion, it's pretty fair to allow 900,000 some green card every year. I think that's pretty fair. But for any Democrat that want to argue, I just want to know if you can give me a number. Like, should we say 3 million green card a year? The crazy
Yeah.
thing with the Democrat, he says no border, no border at all.
Well, that then I just want. I mean, my understanding is that when the governor of Florida sent those people um, um, to the Democratic, sanctuary city, they all got mad.
Right.
They're like, "Well, we welcome these people. I want the Democratic leader to come together and find homes for each single one of these 80 people that were sent there. That's all.
Yeah.
Just put them in a house, take good care of them, find them a job, like you say, protect them. Hey, give them a car. Now we can't find car. There's no more car to buy. I was in Toyota today fixing my car. They do go, oh, by the way, if you need a car, you need to wait 6 months for it. Who's responsible for that? Definitely, you can't blame Trump, okay? You cannot
100%.
blame the Republican Party for not having enough cars.
For sure.
That was not his doing. It's the 100 executive order that the current president signed that led to that,
For sure. For sure.
right? So
Oh,
everything's falling apart. You got to look at your leader and go, guys, you guys know what you're doing,
exactly. Yeah.
right?
That, I don't want to skip this question because you're
Yeah,
a lawyer and I want to get it from you. How come the nurses unions and especially the nurses and the teachers union, how come they're always on a strike, man? Since I was a baby, they were on a strike, man. I remember being in third grade school being canceled because they were on a strike.
yeah. Okay,
So
here's
these folks are these folks vote Democrat, don't they? Don't they all just vote Democrat?
yeah, pretty much. I mean, my understanding, but you
Why
know,
did the Democrat let them down? Like, I mean, there is no Republican they're going to protest against. I mean, there's no Republican in office that they're possibly protesting.
okay, I understand too that I mean, I see where the unions, the importance of the union. I'm not bashing the unions; they're doing a good job. Okay, but here's the thing: you don't see a bunch of lawyers striking. Okay,
No,
I
you
mean,
don't.
lawyers, we spend more money going to school than nurses. Okay, you don't see a bunch of lawyers saying, "Hey, I need, we're gonna, the lawyer's gonna strike because you guys don't pay us enough money. We work too hard, and clients are too difficult. Corporations are too bad, right? And so this is not fair. We, you know, we're gonna strike,
Right,
right? I mean, nurses makes more than lawyers, right? You know that.
for sure.
I mean, and so what happened when we can't control the hospital. So when you raise the 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 salary of the nurses, you know what the hospitals do, right?
Right,
It raises your medical bills, and the insurance company raises your premium, and that's
right,
why we have premium that is more than our mortgage now, right? I mean, same thing with minimum wage. You raise the minimum wage, and McDonald goes to $20. I saw the minute minimum wage goes up,
why do
McDonald.
they walk themselves in a circle? Like the reason I specifically ask about the teachers and the nurses is yeah, I'm seeing them do it almost every 6 months. It's like they go on a protest.
Well, they always
Like
say,
like nobody goes on a protest like them too.
yeah,
The teachers, like
the,
firefighters, don't even go on a protest.
yeah, no, in eighth, you know, I mean,
Construction workers don't go on a
I
protest like
I
that.
respect our teachers, okay, and I'm not here to. I don't want to bash them, and I know
Yeah, it's not
they need a
bashing. Yeah,
decent
for sure.
salary. But here's the thing: all I'm saying is, okay, be careful what we ask for, because we cannot control what we ask for. So I just want to
Right.
give you an example. You raise the salary of the teachers. What about other professions?
Exactly.
Okay. Why are teachers more important than lawyers? That's all I'm saying. Or why is nurses more important than lawyers? Right? Lawyers do. You don't see the lawyer going on strike.
What
They
about the
don't.
restaurant workers? Until
You
their
know,
salaries raised, they're not gonna come to work.
yeah. So to a point, we need to say, you know, you've got to make ends meet. And what we need to do is, while the hospital that these nurses are angry at, um, they're nonprofits. You know that. They don't pay any taxes,
Right.
right? Hospitals are nonprofits. They don't pay any taxes. So I don't know why they're not paying these nurses the money that they do. And then the minute I know when they raise the nurses' salary, they're going to raise your medical bills and then your premium. And now we can't afford it,
Right.
right? We had to find a solution. I know there are smarter people than the two people like us
For
that
sure.
can come out with a solution to say, hey, this is a reasonable wage for a nurse.
Right.
Okay, look at all the profession. These are what we should be paying people so they can afford the bill. When I come out of college, I know people that didn't go to college makes more money than I do.
Right.
I'm like, why do I take out all these loans when these people are already making more money than I do? We have a system that is broken.
For
It
sure.
needs to be fixed. Okay, and so yeah, I mean, everybody starts striking, and you raise the premium, you raise the not premium, you raise the salary of these professionals, and now you and I can't afford our premium. Ace, how do
Exactly.
you pay $1,000 a month for
Not
medical
possible.
bills, Ace, for your family?
Not
That's more
possible in
than
this
your
country.
rent. How did it get to be that way?
Not
You tell
possible.
me, right? How it's going crazy, and we have to control it. That means we have to elect the right leader who's going to be able to help us.
For sure.
And we diverge back to the current governor, for example, right? You got
Hmm.
M. Walz and you got Dr. Scott Jensen.
For
Of
sure.
those two, who has a medical degree? Dr. Jensen. Why do you want a medical doctor being your governor right now? Because the next pandemic is just right around the corner. You want
100%.
a professional who knows disease to be your governor right now,
For
because
sure.
one disease can shut everything down. And you don't
100%.
want some dude who doesn't know anything, who believe in other doctors who telling them what to do, on what the
For sure.
CDC is telling them what to do. You need a smart doctor who cares about the people to run the state to say, this is what we need to do to protect our citizen from the next pandemic without going bankrupt.
100%. And
Right?
on top of that, I would say that we elected Democrats in Minnesota from all the way from top to bottom in the inner city,
Yeah.
Hennepin County and Ramsey County. So we have nothing to lose to try Republicans this
Well,
time around. I mean, they're all Democrat from the top to bottom.
and I say, if they're top to bottom, our state should be the number one state. Don't you think so? The way
I
we're voting, we should have like jobs, and we should have everything just flying off the collar. And by the way, one of the things that I want to tell you, one I'm most pissed off about when I need help from the government. Okay, I call immigration. A lawyer who sits and call immigration. I sit on the line and I listen to the computer and push the right buttons for about an hour before I get to a live person, okay?
right.
Why can't you just put a real human when I call, like, the public department, right? Let's say I anybody I need help with. When I call the county, I call the Attorney General's office, I want a live person answering my question. Say, hello, this is the office of the Secretary of State. How can I help you? And you say, well, this is what I need. Okay, this is who you need to do. Instead of making me listen, if you need this, you push 5. If you need it, you put Z, and then you put F, and then you put
I
P.
know
And
you're
then, oh, by
saying,
the way,
man.
then if you want to listen to everything that I just told you, then you go back to the beginning. I that's what we're that is why the people are so pissed off. I don't know whoever ends up in charge, you need to change that age. Okay, and I know, and if an American, full-fledged American, fluent in English, can't tolerate that process, just think about what's how an immigrant, someone like an Oromo or a Hmong person, would ever find help from the Attorney General's office or from the county attorney's office, right? Because when you
Very true.
call, you don't get a live person anymore, all right? Unless you actually call the courthouse. You still have to push certain buttons to get a live person.
Right.
But we need to stop that. We need to put human being into power. Ace, or have you gone to the airport? And then you have to learn how to work there in order for you to board your plane. Ace, you have to scan it right, push the button. I said, I fly once a year. I don't remember this thing, and I'm a full-fledged lawyer. Maybe I'm not smart enough, but
Right.
I don't know how to scan and push these buttons, right? I paid you a lot of money for you to hire these people, so when I show up, they just tell me what to do. No, so you have to go punch for your ticket. And then the funny thing is, they got people who come and show you how to do it, but there's just enough of them, and then you're late for your flight, right? That's what
Really.
these are the things that drives me crazy every time I go to the airport, and I have to learn how to be a student, how to work at the airport to check myself in.
That's
Okay,
crazy.
you know why I fly Sun Country? I fly Sun Country for one reason, because when I show up over there, there's no computers. They have a real live person who says, "Hello, sir. Would you give me your ID and I can find your flight for you?" I
Exactly.
love that. I love human being. I say all of us, Ethiopian, Oromo, all American, we need to demand that the corporation provide us real human being and not robots. Because I'm sick of
Exactly.
robots. I
For
don't know
sure.
about you, but I'm sick of robots. And I'm sick of robots running our government right now. When we call up in the
Exactly.
office, I get a robot answering me, goes, "Sir, I'm going to tell you these 20 things, and then you need to select one, and then you need to select the next thing. I have a 15 thing to tell you. If you want to talk about the department, then you push this, and you talk about the secretary, you push this, right? Hey, and then by the time that's 20 minutes later, then you go back to one if you don't understand any of this stuff. I say, when am I going to get a real live person on the line? The first, if you just put a real human beings on
See,
there,
man, we definitely need a real leader, man.
we do.
You know how many kids are on waiting list? How many preschoolers in St. Paul are on a waiting list? What this guy tells us, what, 9 billion surplus?
No.
Nine, how much is it? How much surplus we're in Minnesota? Pretty
Nine,
high.
9 billion, whatever. Yeah.
Why this much amount of money is available? Why are these amount of kids are on a preschool waiting list?
Yeah. It's just
A school with the minimum waiting list has 14 kids on a waiting list. That's the minimum. So average is like 25, they told me.
mm-hmm.
Why? Why?
I
Everybody's
yeah,
Democrat. And
yeah.
they're supposed to give people free education anyway, but
Well, people need to hold them accountable. That's all. And I said, you know what? If I was in office and I was running the office and if we didn't do our job, you hold me accountable. You elect somebody that's better. And that's what we need to do. Ace, that's why we're having this discussion. We
100%.
want to elect the right type of leader that's going to be able to get us to the next level, to get us
Right.
out of this problem. Okay? And it's night and day, 2 years ago to today, right? We have yet to see, I want all Minnesotans, right, for us to compare what happened in South Dakota to Minnesota. The governor did not shut down their state at all.
Right.
Okay. According to our expert here in Minnesota, all South Dakotans should all be dead.
They're all alive.
They're all alive. They have
Kicking.
more people than we do. The business are thriving. We lost thousands and thousands of business in Minnesota. And
Right.
if they took, you know why they took the route they did? Because their governor is conservative. That's why.
Right.
She's a Republican. She grew up in a farm. She works her buns off. Okay, she inherited her father's company when her father passed.
And I bet you that state is gonna start dominating in women's sport.
Well, everybody's moving to South Dakota, but I'm saying we don't have to move. We
Fine.
just have to elect the right leader. We need to
She,
put Scott Jensen in office.
I'm sure she's the governor that she's the governor that stood up for the women's sport.
Yes.
Remember that? Well, that's another topic. It'll be more detailed. Some other topic.
Who's- I mean, what an incredible leader,
Yeah.
Governor Christine Nome. I met her personally, by the way, Ace, the
No,
kindest,
no.
the most humble human being
Yeah.
that I've met. She's such a good leader, but she's so humble. And
I watched the whole
she works
speech
so
on how
hard
she
for her state.
on that topic, man. There was a lot of common sense in there.
Yes.
She
So,
she's saving the women's sport, man. Women's sport is being destroyed now.
yep, and then we need to, we need to hold our leader accountable.
For sure.
And tonight discussion is about, hey, where who should or why does the minority community not support the conservative party? They just don't know what is conservative.
Right.
The word conservative thinks that nothing gets done, that
Right.
only a few gets in. That's not true.
On
That's
top of that, the Democrats'
the
promise is just too much. You know how much they
conservative
promise.
party is really the freedom party.
Right.
Okay, because they want to be free. You
Exactly.
should be able to be free to protect your family, especially from
100%.
criminals, right? People that want to harm other people, you should be able to protect you and your family. And the
Right.
only way to do that, unfortunately, until we have top law enforcement in place, is that people need to arm themselves and protect their family,
Exactly.
right? It's like me and you
Exactly.
go out in the jungle, right?
With
And there's a bunch of
you,
lions. I know,
exactly.
Ace, I'm gonna tell you, a stick won't do it. I need a weapon.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's what I tell my Oromos. Lack of guns got us kicked us out of Ethiopia. If we had guns,
Yeah,
we would have kicked our country, Oromia.
and human beings that are hurting us are smarter than lions. So when you
Exactly.
say, well, go to the jungle and you don't need a gun, I'm like, well, you don't have these animals in cages, okay? You can't protect us.
Right.
And I'm not saying our criminals, I'm just using an analogy.
For sure.
Like, how to protect yourself and your family when you live in the jungle.
For
These
sure.
these lions, they don't hate you, man, but they just see you as food, Ace.
For sure. For
Me and
sure.
you are free food. And
100%.
we don't have
Opportunity.
we don't have the strength to defend ourselves unless we have weapons.
Exactly. 100%. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, we went 8 minutes over the hour we wanted to plan on talking, man. It's a good conversation. Please do come back again so we will talk more.
I definitely will.
We will talk more. My last message, you want to take it first? Any last message you have, or should I take it?
Well,
Let me
Ace, I
take
want
it
to
and you
thank you
think
for
about it.
having the show. Yeah, and I want to say, we hear a lot about the Conservative Party, and there's a lot of bashing going on. Like, Democrats and fight. If you guys are like me, we hear our political leader. They're always fighting.
Right,
Okay, and I want to see what I want to see more, and what we need to encourage our political leader to do no more, is to not attack each other, but to debate ideas.
for
We
sure,
want the best leaders, and at the end of the day, we're not Democrat, Republican, and Independent, or Romo, or Hmong. We
for
are
sure,
all American,
for sure,
and that's the message I want to leave you, the listener tonight, that we are all American. And so here in America, I'm not just a Hmong, but I'm a Romo Hmong.
for sure,
Arobo and Hmong are American, and we
for
speak
sure,
the same language. And
for
here
sure,
in America, we need to protect our freedom. And the
100%,
party that that allow us to be free and to protect our freedom. That's the party that we need to support. The leader that protect our freedom and democracy, those are the leader that we need to support.
For sure, 100%. If you care about freedom of the speech, it's clear that the conservatives worldwide, a person with a conservative ideology is the person that usually respect other people's freedom, that usually truly respect other people's culture. Like, I don't have to practice your culture to just leave you alone so you can practice your culture. That's the
Yeah.
real respect. The Democrats be coming here and putting my clothes on, they put in a remote clothes and they fake it like as if they're with me. You know what I mean? Like, so if you wanted that real freedom, but this freedom gotta be protected. That is why the
Yes.
US have the Second Amendment, the right for us to protect ourselves, because by the time you call 911, the damage already been done. So when the police come, police usually come and do the report and then they search for the criminal. But the criminal already robbed you, already killed you, but they're not going to bring back your life. So that is why it's important that the first thing is that you have freedom of speech. Then you have the right to defend yourself, protect yourself. Then after
Mhm.
that, you have choices. These choices should be your choice, school choice. If
Yes.
this school district doesn't have what I want for my son, I should be able to send my son to a different school district.
Correct.
We should have those choices. Which
Yes.
case in choices, the conservatives are really good with that. And
Yeah.
then we go over to the health, like a dental. Why does the government need to tell me which dentist I need to see? If I know a good dentist, I should pick my dentist and I should go to any dental. But now I have to drive specifically the dental that they pick for me. That is not fair. That is not good. That is not
Mhm.
freedom. We don't want that.
Yeah.
So that is why these things are so important than the promises that the Democrats always give us. School is gonna be free. I've been hearing that since I came to America, and I never see that happen. And the price of the school constantly keep on going up. Housing is gonna be free. I don't see that many people getting free housing. It's still the same. 5% of the Americans gonna be poor, and they continue will get that support, like no matter what. But how they gonna say the entire American population is gonna live in the same standard of a home? It's not even possible. We're just gonna get killed here in corruption. So that's what I have to say. Minorities in the U.S. practice as you see yourself. Don't fake it. If you fake it, you're not gonna get it.
Right.
By faking, you're not gonna get it. You're gonna get caught if you fake it. If you fake it and you think this candidate is gonna do something for you, you're faking it to yourself. You're not gonna get it. Just be real, be honest, be conservative. That's what I gotta say. I appreciate you all. I appreciate you, Shia.
Yeah. Same here. Thank you for having me. So
For
now,
sure. Tomorrow I'll come back with a strong debate with two different people. I got a head to head, a strong debate tomorrow. So
wonderful.
Itigaru,
I'm glad what you are doing, and debate is what where it's going to take for you to get the best ideas out.
for sure. For
Yeah.
sure. I appreciate you all.
Right.
Anybody who's watching right now, please do share before you drop off. We have a crazy algorithm on our show. A
Yeah.
ton of people used to tune in and watch it, but now people can see our show. It's cutting freedom of speech. This is the kind of freedom of speech we're talking about. I
Right.
know, I know if the founder of Facebook is conservative, if he's Republican, I know he will not put algorithm on my show, but he does, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But peace out, Shia.
Right.
I
Good
appreciate your
night.
work today.
Okay. Take care.
Have a wonderful
Until
night.